Good morning, everyone. I am Debbie Chronister. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. And today I'm going to use one of our stamp sets. It's on the last chance list, Peekaboo Forest. I bought this and I never even got a chance to use it. And now it's on the last chance list. And I'm so sad. So I said, I'm using it. I hate it when I buy a stamp set and I don't get a chance to use it or I don't use it. It's brand new. So today we're going to use the Peekaboo Forest and we're going to do a dual pop-up card. So it's kind of a fun card. I'm doing this in my clubs this month, so this will give them something to reference back to as well as to show everyone how cute this card really is. So let's get started. And you can find my blog at stampwithdeb.com and get more ideas. So I'm going to do the Peekaboo Forest. So let me show you what a dual pop-up card is. And I'm not sure I have everything cut. This morning I just got too busy and got lost track of time. So we're going to go with it. So this is one that I made for my clubs. Happy Halloween. And this is using new product here. This is a retired paper. So it opens up and the two doors open and it says boo on the inside. So this is what I'm going to show you how to make today. And it's really an easy card. It's not hard at all. Here's another one that I did for autumn. This is using one of our new sets that is coming out in September. Yeah, I can't believe it's almost September already. So anyway, this is one of our new sets, and these dies are one of the new dies that are coming out as well. And the Happy Halloween came from that set also. And then I opened it up, and inside is just a cute little greeting. So grateful to have a friend like you, which is in this set, in the pumpkin set. So we're going to do Peekaboo Forest though. So I've started out with a piece of basic white that is cut at 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. That's my basic card, our basic card size. Okay, then I have a piece of, and I did a whole bunch of these, so this is how I did it. I'm going to show you because to me this was the easiest way to do it. So you're going to start with a piece of 8.5 by 11. And let me make sure I'm in the camera. Okay, and I am going to move it over to, with the short side at the top, the long side is what we're really working on. And I'm going to move it over to 3/4 of an inch. And I'm going to score. Okay, that's really important that you score there. And I'm using the markings on this side of my paper trimmer. I love our paper trimmer because it has the markings and you can use them on both sides of that cutting line. Okay, then I'm going to move it over to 1 1/8. And then I'm going to cut. Oops, cut, Debbie. Better to score than to cut, huh? Okay, this is the piece that I want. Now, let me see how the easiest way to show you this is going to be. Let me grab a ruler. I always have rulers here. Where's my rulers? Okay, here's the little one. Okay, so I'm going to come, and from this end, on the wide side, let's see if I can move you down a little bit here while we do this. Okay, on the wide side, I'm going to mark it, ruler up, at 1.5 inches over here. Just a little line. Then I'm going to go to the center here, and I'm going to mark it at 3/4 of an inch, right on that score line. I just want to put a little dot there that's indicating where the 3/4 is. I'm going to turn my paper around. This is that 11-inch piece that I cut. And I'm going to do the same thing here, but now my wide side is over here. So I'm going to mark it at 1.5 inches on the wide side and 3/4 of an inch on the score line. Just going to be right there. Okay, now we're going to go back over to the paper trimmer. And I am going to score from this dot boy, my paper trim is really dirty. It's almost dirtier, has more marks than the paper. From this dot to this dot. Okay, so to do that, I'm going to put this right in the track, just like that. And then I'm going to look through here. And I can look through here, and I can see that I'm going to be right on. Let's get that on. Right on, and I'm going to score. Okay, then I'm going to take and I'm going to turn it, and I'm going to score from this top corner of my paper across that dot. And it doesn't matter where I come out down here, it's just going to go across that dot. So from that top corner, which is right here, and I need my dot to be in there. So I'm lining up this dot that I made on the 3/4 inch dot on that line and that corner. And I'm just going to score across that. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other end. So I'm going to score between my two dots. Between my two dots this way. Getting my paper in there the right way. Okay, and you can see that they're right in that track. And so I'm going to go across there, and then I'm going to go from the corner over this dot. So, okay. All right, we are done. This is our mechanism. So now I'm going to cut this at 5 inches on each end, because I need a 5-inch piece. This way I've done both pieces, and they're going to be correct. Because if you do it each one separately, you may do it right, you may not. Because look at this, they're opposites, and that's what I want. I want this one has the small side on the right, this one has the small side on the left. So that is the important part of it, you know, doing it this way. And it just made it super easy. I did all the tops, did all the bottoms, and boom, it was set. Okay, so let's go ahead and cut this. So we're going to cut out on the 1/2 inch side, that little 1/2 inch area, you're going to cut to the dot, and then you're going to cut in. You're still on that 1/2 inch side. Don't do anything on the wider side. You need this side. And same thing on this one. You're going to cut out the narrow side. Okay, now, where's our card base? Our card base is right here. Let's bring that back in here. I'm just going to leave you guys down this low. I'm going to tip it a little bit though, maybe. No, let's leave it alone. Okay, I'm just going to leave it alone because it feels like it's going to fall. Okay, so we're going to take these, we're going to fold them, and this is going to get folded under. This gets folded, and you're just going to fold all of these, just fold them over. The top, everywhere you scored, you want to fold. Okay. This one I'm going to burnish, so let me grab my bone folder here, and I'm going to grab I'm going to use tear and tape this morning. So I have a roll of tear and tape here that I'll pull in. So let's burnish that. You could use glue, you could use what's the one I want? Stampin' Seal Plus. But I'm just going to use the tear and tape, it's handy. And tear and tape has a nice strong hold. So I'm just going to attach my tear and tape right there. I do have to bring this up, don't I? You guys can't see what I'm doing. So for some reason it feels loose. Give me a minute here. I'll just adjust that. There. That gives you a little bit more vision of what I'm doing. Okay, so I added my tear and tape to the 1/2 inch side, and I'm going to do that on this one also. I'm just going to burnish that a little bit just to make sure that it sticks, and then when I peel the paper off, it doesn't come off. Okay, Now, I am going to leave this folded in half, and I'm going to attach it to this side. So I know that because I want this edge to match up with the outside of my card. So I have to turn it so I can get it in here. And I'm just going to match up the bottom. And you should match at the top. Your top should come to a point there, but you should be below the fold. Okay, so that's what your guide is when you're there, it's below the fold. Oops, I have to. So when I unfold this, I shouldn't have folded that under there. That doesn't go that way. It's going to go that way. Yeah. Okay. So this now is attached. There is an area here that has nothing. We're going to cover that up. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Just peel this off. Unattach this, just lining up that bottom corner. And if you cut it right and scored it right, it should line up perfectly with that center fold. It's going to fold this way. Okay. All right, now you can see what's happening here, huh? Okay, so I want to make sure, first of all, that this is not going to show when I close my card. Fold that over. So you can see I have just a tiny bit here that is showing when I straighten this up. So I'm just going to trim a little bit off. Sometimes that happens. It's just a hair is all I need off there. And over here, looks fine. Okay. That means I just probably cut it or scored it just a hair off. All right, now I'm going to use green glue for this part. And I'm just going to fold this over. You can see I'm folding this over, and I'm going to put glue just on this portion. This is what's going to stick down. Maybe I'm going to put glue on it. Maybe I'm not. Let's see, where's my pin? No pin. Okay, so we're going to use tear and tape since my green glue is not cooperating this morning. So we'll use the tear and tape. I just want to make sure I don't have too much of it on there. Okay, so I just put the tear and tape on these two little flaps. Peel that off. Maybe I'm going to peel it off. There we go. I'm going to fold this back because it's over. And I'm just going to close that over like that. That's going to put it exactly where it needs to be. So that's going to create that little door. Fold this over. And just like that. And that is really the hardest part of the whole card. If that's hard. And it really wasn't that bad. So let's finish up and decorate our card now that we have our card with the mechanism all ready to go. Okay, so I have cut somewhere. We left them over here. Yes. So I am using, let me show you what I'm using. Remember Sale-A-Bration last year? Well, we had this cute little fruit paper. I have a ton of it. It was a free paper. And I just have so much of it that I said, you know what? I'm going to use some of that up. It's a really cute paper. Some of the sides are with fruit and some of them are just plain and or have a decoration of a pattern. And I just thought this was super cute to use for this. So for the inside, I am going to cut a piece that is 3 3/4 by 4. So let me just do that. And we'll attach that to the inside. And I'm using the green in here because I know what I'm going to do in here. Okay, so let's go ahead and put that in. Where's my Stampin' adhesive here? And let's make sure we have it going the right way. I'm going to fold those down. just like that. Okay, and then I have these little strips. Remember I said we were going to cover that up? Well, we're going to put these on the side. Let me grab my silicone mat here so I don't end up with glue everywhere. And it seems to have disappeared. There it is. I've had a lot of stuff going on. I'm creating, and that's the fun part, right? It is for me. I enjoy it. So, working on different things. So I've got everything everywhere, and I'm getting a shipment today. I'm so excited. I can't wait to see what I ordered. I used almost all of my Stampin' rewards that I had for my shipment. So, those are fun. I'm liking getting Stampin' rewards. Okay, so these are cut at 5/8 by 4 1/8. And I'm just going to attach these in that outside area just to cover up. I could have cut them a little short. To cover up that mechanism where it goes, where it's attached. Okay, and then we have some doors. Where's my doors? I cut them. Here they are. We have some doors, and these are the doors that are going to go on here. So let's go ahead and put these on. I'm thinking I want to cover these with what? Ooh, I don't know, guys. What do you think? Should I do it with the DSP or should I do it with Granny Apple Green? Or should I pull in the yellow? Let's just put the doors on for now. I'll figure that out later, right? Okay, when I put my doors on, they're cut at 3 1/2 by 2 1/8. And I'm going to have to put both sides on here since I started that. And I'm just going to line these up. Want to make sure they line up on the outside edge here. I'm not too worried about what's inside. Okay, just like that. And those are my doors, and I can decorate those. And I think 2 1/8 was too long. It is. They should have been 2. Can I cut this off at 2? I think I can. So I just need to cut off 1/8 of an inch. Let's try it. Okay. I may regret this, but okay, they're 2 inches wide. They should be 2 inches wide. So let me just trim these off. Check these and see where I cut these. Yes, I cut these wrong too. My original pattern was for 2 1/8, but they overlapped, and I didn't like them overlapping because it made the card bulkier. So you want to be careful with that. It's bulky enough that we don't need to have more bulk, add more bulk to it. So when you do this, you want to make sure that your height on your scoring, that you're not going to get caught in your card. So when I'm putting this down, I want to make sure that everything is going to lie flat. There we go. And there's our doors on there. Now, on my other ones, you can see I put, I did this in the orange, the pumpkin. And so I put some leaves on there. And on this one, I did the little balloons, the little bubbles for Halloween. So this one, I will have to figure out what I'm doing, huh? So let's go ahead and finish the front of this. So for the front, I have a piece of that designer series paper, and it's cut at 5 1/4 by 4. And there will be I probably should have decorated this first before I did the inside because it's awkward, wobbly to do it. I don't know that I'll get it lined up straight. Yeah, it's not going to line up straight. And I really don't want to ruin my DSP here. let's see if I open the card and do it. Let's try that, because there should be nothing. I can't open the card because it doesn't lay flat. Yes, it does. There it goes. Okay. That's better. Except I'm putting it on crooked. Okay. Close enough. It's as close as it's going to get today. All right. Going to have a piece of basic white here and another piece of that yellow with the pears on the other side, or a piece of that DSP. And I'm just going to attach those two together. And I just left a small, an eighth of an inch going around, and that's going to go in the center. And I'm not going to pop it up because that's just too, it's going to have too much bulk. We do want to fit it in an envelope. Okay, I'll put all these measurements on there for this card. I do have a little bit of it showing right there. Okay, we're not going to worry about that. It's just fine. All right, next I have my greeting, which I have already stamped, and I stamped it with Versamark, and then used the heat and emboss powder. And so I have that. This greeting comes from the Toadstools, Terrific Toadstools. But I think it's an adorable greeting for this, for what we're doing with this. And then I've already stamped and colored my little guys here. So I'm going to quickly cut those guys out as soon as I find my set here. Because nice thing to cut those little guys out. So just give me a minute and I will get them cut. They're so cute. So for the little bear, for the little, I don't know what he is, porcupine? Maybe a porcupine? I used crumb cake. I just used the light crumb cake. And then for the little raccoon, I think it's a raccoon, I used gray granite. So that is what I used to color with. The nose on the bear, I used the number 500 from our neutrals collection, and everything jumped, of course. I should have taped them down because they moved just enough to be a little bit of a shadow around them. Now I could take a pair of scissors and cut those. I could restamp them. I'm not going to worry about them. They're cute. They're cute little guys. It just says I'm a homemade card, right? That's what it says. So let's get our three little guys here. Put our dies there so we don't lose them. These three little guys on. It's interesting because there is a little, almost like a score line right across here. Tuck him on there. Perfect. Okay, so let's just I would love to have a little green glue here. Let's see oh, look at that. It came right out. Okay. I just wasn't squeezing hard enough. Because he's missing a little bit, I'm going to put him in the middle. Maybe. I'll put this little guy on his right. Yep. I love this. I love that it has this little tab so you can hook him in. This little guy's going to go on his right. He could even come over a little bit and cover him up. I don't know. He's okay. And this little guy is going to go on the other side. Boy, Stampin' Up knew what they were doing when they created these little guys, right? Just doing that little tab on there just makes such a difference. Okay, now we're going to pop this up, definitely, because looks like it should be popped up. And this will do two things. One, I can secure my little characters there by putting a dimensional right on them. And number two, it'll pop up my little greeting. So we're going to use, I want to make sure that because this is such a bulky card already, Make sure the grading doesn't get squished down. Okay. Let's add this on the front. Make sure I got all my, I'm going to move this out of the way so I don't end up with glue all over the back of my card. And I'm just, oh, we need to put some dimensionals on our little characters. Whoops. Or they won't. They'll go back to the back. They'll look like they're laying down. Okay, now we're done. Okay, so let's add this little characters on here. They're so cute. I love them. I'm so happy I got to use them. Okay, now for the inside of our card. I'm thinking we need the yellow on the doors. So I'm going to cut a couple of pieces of designer series paper. Oh, I know what I'm going to put on the inside. So this month, in July, Paper Pumpkin had a die that cut the word hello. Let's see, where's my scraps? And so I thought that would be really cute since it says popping up to say hi. So I have a little white hello that we're going to put on the inside right here. So I'm going to get my other glue and just add a little bit of that on here. Okay, let's see what's going on here. Okay, it's stuck to my finger. I have glue on my fingers. Can't imagine why I have glue on my fingers. Okay, we're almost done here. So I'm just going to add that little bit of glue on there and put my hello in there, and I'm just going to make it go uphill. I'm not going to be real fussy about it. So you could still write on here, missing you, or would love to see you, or whatever. And then here, I need these cut at 1 7/8 by, let's see, by 3. What did I cut those out? Let me look at my cheat sheet here. My doors are 3.5, so I needed it 3 and that's not going to work. Let me grab a new piece of paper. Oh, here's some. Okay, so I need to cut these at 1 7/8. I think I did it at 1 3/4. 1 7/8 works. 1 3/4, either one. It just depends upon what you want to have as an edge. I'm going to go 1 7/8 by 3 1/8. Because I really don't want a whole lot of white. There's enough white showing everywhere else. I cut that wrong. 1 7/8 by, I will get it. 1 7/8. It's the length that I messed up on. By 3 3/8. Okay, perfect. Let's do 2 of those. I'm glad I have so much of this paper. 3 3/8 by 1 7/8. Okay, let's put those on the front of there. Or on the doors. I should have decorated the doors before I put them on. It's definitely easier to get your paper straight and to work on it. So that would be my recommendation, is to decorate your doors before you put them on. Okay. All right, so my doors are on there. I'm not going to put anything on the inside. Let's just put, I'd love to put the tree on there, but it's way too big, you can see. So let's use, I have some leaves here. I don't know, guys. I could do a couple of leaves. Let's do them in the designer series paper. See how that looks. That's always fun. And I have some scraps laying around here. And I think there's a branch in there. Oops, that doesn't cut the leaves out. Oh, interesting. So guys, the dies that are in here do not cut the leaves out. They cut like that. So I think I'm going to have to find some leaves and put them on there. So I will take a picture of them when I'm done, of the inside. I'll make sure that I get a picture of the inside. And then that way you guys don't have to wait until I can figure out what I'm doing. But that is my card for today. I just thought it was so cute, popping up to say hi, and then you open it up and it's a pop-up and it says hello. So thanks for joining me today. And like I said, I will go ahead and put something on the inside on these doors, and I'll post it online. And you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next Wednesday at 11 a.m. right here. Thanks. Bye-bye.